much for your patience with this. Welcome along to the Hitch-Hikers Guide to Irish Festivals. I'm joined by two festival bookers here. This gentleman here, this suave gentleman in the middle, is Wren Donoghue. He's a booker for C Sessions. And this lovely woman to my far right is Wren, who's a booker for Volume Soul. Please give him a round of applause. Can we start by asking, let's start with you, Jay. How was the summer like for you?
Summer?
Yeah. Remember, the last short moments.
Summer seemed to go in 5 seconds, but the summer I thought was really good. Yeah, it was really strong. I think for us as a festival, it really came together. All the things we've been striving for the past 5 years in our independent festival really just came together. Obviously, the weather helped, but it was really strong. I was very happy with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about C Sessions up in Bundoran? I mean, how was the summer for you up there?
Weather was great for a change. The last 2 years the weather was awful, so we were blessed with that, and it was great. Yeah. All good vibes all around.
Excellent. Just so everyone knows as well, we invite all the festival bookers and producers to come along for a variety of reasons. They send their apologies. So just so you know that as well, just in case you're wondering where all the other festivals are, they all were invited. And so just keep talking there. It's fascinating, there will be, the one thing Bonnie mentions is the weather. And the weather in Ireland makes such a difference. It's like I'm convinced that the weather, as opposed to any carelessness or bad booking policies, which scuppered Oxford, for example, and weather has made electric picnic such a success in over 10-15 years. When you started out booking a festival, were you aware of the part the climate would play in success of
I don't know if I agree with that, because we've had great years with monsoons, and I think it's the people our age care more about the weather than the kind of 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds. They don't seem to care. It's like, oh, we can't move away last minute. We had a great time. Amazing weekend. And that's what happens,
Yeah.
It wasn't that hard, was it? Sorry about 10 seconds.
I like this. I think this will be a problem. Jenny, what about you? What's your take on the weather?
Weather never came into our consciousness at all, and I would probably disagree with you as well. I think the likes of Oxford, etc., many other issues other than a bit of rain, except you do. I suppose you're kind of knee deep into it, not physically, but booking, and you're watching the build and the artists and this, that, and the other.
It's a bonus.
And then you see a grey cloud and you go, oh, yeah, okay. It does take a little bit more for you to get into the festival.
Yeah.
But we live in Ireland. We live on an island. There's going to be rain.
Right. How long has Bobby Soul been going in terms of the independent festival? How long has C Sessions been going?
Well, we've booked the village at Body and Soul at the picnic for 10 years. Seems like forever, and Body and Soul is 5 years now. The independent festival.
The session started 2008.
2008, okay. So you've kind of become right at the kind of as the festival goes. I also kind of time this festival goes beginning back to 2003 or 2004, and it's just for some reason kind of kicked off then. Never seen the summer since then. The festival's been growing and growing and growing. So obviously being Body and Soul, the C Sessions came on board, plus also festivals like Casper Music, Independence, all these festivals that will be celebrating 10 years.
Started in the recession 2008.
Yeah, but the thing what I found amazing is this just changing face of Irish festival. Maybe talk a little bit about that. I mean, how much festivals have changed. Do you think punters now expect more? Do you think when punters come to a festival like C Sessions of Body and Soul that their sense of expectations much higher than it would have been 10 years ago?
I don't know, to be honest with you, and I probably don't get enough time to study any of that. We sort of just do what we do, and we're so busy doing it. I'm not really watching others, to be honest with you. The feedback we get is people seem to be very surprised, actually, really pleasantly surprised, because a strong part of our ethos, as you know, or maybe some of you don't, but obviously the music is very important, but the site is very important. The small bits and pieces are extremely important to us as well. Your camping experience, your family experience, so we get constant feedback of people being surprised. So I don't know that they come in with really high expectations. I think they come to hopefully have an experience. But I don't necessarily think so. You have to remember there's also just the new crop coming up all the time, the younger crew that haven't been to festivals. So if we could get them and show them, look, actually, you can festival without having a big fight in the field and throwing litter everywhere, I think that'd be great.
I think it's cyclical to a certain extent. Say the height of oxygen witness, big festival was the thing, then kind of people got a little bit bit sick of that. The small festivals started coming around. Now, even with say Electric Big, we're doing over 40,000. Maybe the big festival's coming back. Not that the small festival will go away, but it is maybe cyclical to a certain extent.
Do you think like maybe we've reached peak festival in that? I mean, we've definitely reached peak Indian headdresses. What about festivals?
Flowers.
I think I agree with you to a certain extent. Yeah. I don't know if you're saying that as a statement or you're asking.
No, I'm just wondering about it because it's like, you know, it's like
there's only so many people who go around.
Correct.
There's definitely there's festivals.
It's you just sticking back in the cell here.
I said I'm sure there's festivals that have suffered or have suffered this year. I'm sure there's ones that most of them seem to have done well. There's definitely a few casualties, you know. It seems to be more kind of coming online every year and ones aren't going away. So maybe there is too many.
What do you think, Jim?
I mean, I'm constantly amazed and surprised with, Jesus, there's another festival? You know, do people realise how much this takes? You know, there's like, yeah, we'll put on a festival. And you're like, really? Do you really want to go down that road? It takes an awful lot.
That's the thing. It's like an awful lot of people don't realise the amount of road.
The amount of work.
And like just something like say that Lightwater Sound Festival in Kilkenny, which was a complete another kind of post-event catastrophe in that it didn't actually pay, like all the acts were paid. Does that have an effect on the festival sector per se? Do you kind of find people are a bit more wary about it, or is it the case that the festivals you're involved in have basically built up a reputation that something that doesn't affect it?
For us, it wouldn't affect us, no. I mean, we build a very solid relationship. Well, we hope we build a solid relationship with artists. We try with agents as best you can. So, no, I mean, you have to stick with your own brand and how you operate as a business. And if some other Irish business isn't doing well, you know, it's the same in every industry that shouldn't really have an impact. Except that it's perhaps weeding out those that are not festival fit themselves. That the idea was great, but then the reality of what it actually takes to put it together, both in finance, just the extra costs that come at you. You know, rain is one thing, dampening your spirits, but then all the extra hay, the extra stuff you need to suddenly make your festival worthy of walking through. You know, there's extra costs that come at you, left, right, and centre. So with those things, I think it might just highlight to others the pitfalls and make them a bit more aware when this great idea is around the table. Let's do a festival. It takes an awful lot.
What do you think about that?
What was the question again?
There's two questions. One is like, do you think people are mad when they go down that road of basically like starting a festival from scratch who may not have any experience in the music industry, which is what happened with a lot of festivals. And then like, does when festivals go bad, does it have a reputational damage in the sector?
I think once a festival has an established name and it's got a good track record, what other people do can't really affect it. But I do think some people are mad. But then, you know, if they want to go, they have to have a go. They can't just sit back and do nothing. But there is some madness out there already. Yeah.
Have you got your head on his book for next year?
We're looking at them.
That's a lie.
One of the things that kind of one of the things that made an awful lot of kind of inroads this summer was from bands kind of talking about not getting paid at festivals, not getting paid fees by festivals. You know, there's like did you pay all your acts?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
In cash?
Yeah. Well, no.
In cash?
In cash. Invoice. Invoices. Yeah. Not by loan cakes or anything like that. You know.
Yeah. So like
every act got paid.
Every act got paid a fee.
Yeah.
Right. So like obviously, I mean,
and some, and I've been completely honest, some played for like a handful of them played for tickets and stuff because they really want to be involved. I mean, that's like I know some people go, oh, every band should get paid, but it's like there's only a certain budget, and if people want to be involved, and that's they'll get something. Nobody would go away with either expenses or maybe some tickets, depending. But that's limited amount.
Right. And like
everyone gets paid. Everyone gets something.
Right. Whereas what you're saying everyone got paid a fee.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's just this is argument that's kind of been going around all summer, and I'm trying to kind of get to the bottom of the very so you've obviously seen the articles as well, and it's like what I kind of found really interesting is that there was never very few bands were prepared to come forward and actually kind of back these things up. Do you kind of think sometimes that bands kind of expect too much maybe? They win a band out of the festival like C Sessions or Volume, so they see the acts who are headlining and they think well we should be treated the same way as Carver.
I think there's too much. Being honest, I think there's too much of a disparity from what headlines get to what bottom of the line get. But unfortunately, that's the market, do you know what I mean? And let's be completely honest, I mean, that's, you know, at the end of the day, you are running a business, you're not a charity for good bands, unfortunately. So, but there is, I do admit there is too much of a disparity, but there's only a certain budget. If you paid everyone, you know, the equivalent, you know, you're going to go bust the first year, you know? And then the artist fee is only one part of your costs, and a percentage of costs.
Yeah. What about the use of kind of being volunteers and interns, you know, at that festival? Is this something like obviously you use it because otherwise, as kind of Ray is saying, it's like you're going to go bust, you know, because do you kind of find that hard? Is that when you started out in festivals, Jenny, did you try to do stuff for free as well?
I hardly get paid myself. You know, but do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know, you're not making it to build your pension, let's put it that way. Absolutely. I think, you know, it goes on a slightly old, not barter is probably the wrong word, but, you know, at least for us, I feel if a band came in, let's say, for tickets, or if there's some sort of pulley system, you know, there's give and take. You mentioned the word earlier that caribou should be treated. That is one thing. All our acts are treated well.
Yeah, well,
your wage might be a little bit different, your fee, but you know you're not treated like, oh, get to the back of the queue there. You know, absolutely, we're grateful to everybody that comes on the stage and what they're doing. But I think for us, like we at least try and build a brand production level, and that people look at our bill and go, okay, if they're on the Body and Soul bill, if they're on the Sea Sessions bill, they're worth looking at as an Irish act, so that helps their CV. So you might be able to pay them a huge amount of money, but at least it works well for them, and it's a good place to showcase. Same with interns, you know, if you had to pay absolutely everybody, you couldn't run the festival. Or any festival, I don't think. So again, if they come into your office, as long as they're not just like treated, oh, you know, get me this, it's not about that. It's about actually, you know, anybody that's walked away from us, I hope, really comes away with something strong. They're part of a team, they felt part of a team, and yeah, they come away with good work on their CV and have learned something. Yeah.
Okay. Like you both kind of like we said talked about like festivals as business. So let's talk about gig economics. You know, I mean, like you don't have to answer this question, Jenny, but I got a feeling this year at Body and Soul, you made out like bandits this year at Body and Soul. You made out like bandits. It seems to be a very profitable festival because you've got your kind of I suppose talent bill really tight. You know, you do really good crowds. You know, it just kind of struck me that it was a way festivals should go. I mean, you don't have to answer the question, but yes or no, was this a good profitable year for
I couldn't even answer that question. I literally look at music, I don't look at accounts, I know what I have to pay the acts, and that's it. I know what budget I'm given, after that I don't look at it. I think this year, I'm sure we at least broke even, but you have to remember the money that's been put in to bring us up to year 5. Yeah. So you're probably only, you know, like any business, it takes a while to actually get into the profit sector.
Right.
And we're not, we're printing money yet, let's put it that way.
What was Sea Sessions?
I do know the answer, I'm not telling you.
A yes or no answer though, just like you don't give me.
Let's say over the last 3 years, yeah, we've made a couple of quid, but honestly not anything that's going to set you up for the rest of your life, that's for sure.
Okay. So like
that's over the course of, let's say, 3 years.
Oh no, that's like I totally appreciate that kind of candor. But like I'm also kind of fascinated by the fact that Body and Soul has managed to keep brands worldwide. You know, Sea Sessions. Some brands involved with Sea Sessions. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit like Jenny about the kind of Body and Soul approach when it comes to brands. I mean, is that going to remain the same, or will that change down the road?
Again, I can't fully answer that. At every festival, they do a little corner.
Vodafone.
Yeah. They don't come in and sponsor those for us anymore. They do this Vodafone festival thing, don't they?
It's a recharge thing.
It's a little stage thing.
But they pay every festival X amount to be involved. So, that's a brand, big multinational brand that's involved with Sea Sessions, Body and Soul, Literary Picnic, 2 comedy festivals, Castle Blues.
Yeah, but is that kind of, is that the 10 of the wage? Do you think, like, for example, Body and Soul, that you bring in other people besides Vodafone?
To a degree, but again, I can't fully answer that question because it's really just not my side of the business. Yeah. But I do know, we're very careful about who we would like to. Obviously you'd love some money, but at the same time, you don't want to take cash from the devil.
Yeah. Like in terms of saying like,
I don't think they're going to.
I don't like I suppose that's kind of where my question
It's like you need to sponsor. You couldn't run a festival without sponsorship. I don't care unless that's commercial sponsor or a local council sponsor or Vulture or whoever it is. You need to have some kind of sponsorship. I don't think it's feasible to do it without that, unless the acts do it for next to nothing. Unless it's a charity thing and acts say, oh, you do it for nothing. People work on it for nothing. Whatever. I just don't think it's economically viable without sponsors. And you can see that in everything. You can see that in every sponsor or in every festival. Many festivals have gone where you can get Guinness, Heineken, O'Hara's. Do you know what I mean? You can't. You get one beer or the other, for example. And that's it. That's the way it goes, isn't it?
You mentioned right there, you mentioned councils, like, have any of you kind of like seen a change from the councils in terms of like, what they're demanding, what they're looking for? I mean, I know that like, if that's over 5,000 people, it doesn't need a license, for example, but there's still an interplay when it comes to the local councils. Has that changed over the years you've been doing the festival?
I don't know if I can't fully answer that, but I do know we're very aware of what the local councils, what the local people in the area, if they're complaining, you have to be very careful with your sound levels. Yeah, that all is taken care of. Yeah, I don't know if that's changed over the years or not. I think it's probably always been like that. I think there might be getting a bit more so. I think locals are getting a bit pissed off for festivals.
I think it's funny if you bring something to, if it's like for us, we're in a town, a small town in June, which not a whole lot would be happening at that time, so we're bringing something to the town, we're bringing a lot of business to the town. So yeah, we get something on the council. Now it's a drop in the ocean really, but it's certain something. Whereas if you're, let's say, a Marley Park or something, you're not really bringing anything to Marley Park or to the area, so you're not really going to get hit bigger in rent or whatever. So I just think it's all completely relative.
Yeah, it's just, that's actually you kind of mentioned Marley Park because it's like, like I think personally, like, those concerts bring a lot to Marley Park. In terms of people that causes disturbance, the local centre, whatever, it's like, it's good business, whatever, like it's a good engagement. But I'm kind of more interested as well, like, has Donegal kind of gone to Bundoran Urban District Council as it is? Has it basically, have they changed in their actual HWCH stations? Like after, are they still welcoming? Are they still kind of, you still see it as kind of a good economic impact on the town?
In a word, yeah. They're accommodating. They definitely think it brings something to the town. It's good from a tourism point of view overall. It's good obviously for business that weekend. I think it's positive. It gives off a positive impression of Bundoran. I mean, we all know Bundoran has a bit of a dodgy name, as dodgy holiday resort for whatever amount of years. But now it's like the surfing capital of Ireland, and the kind of name is changing. I'd like to think we're part of changing the image of it, so therefore we're bringing some positive. It's a win-win situation for everyone.
Is there much competition between you? Not directly between Wren and Ken, but like between festivals? This is the first time you've heard me.
It is actually. Yes.
Oh, okay, there we go. The competition is at arm's length. But like, have you noticed that the competition is growing? That because as a number of festivals, mid-sized festivals grow, competition for acts. Does that kind of like present itself in terms of like meaning bigger fees for the acts, or how is it? Is it like about getting coverage and profile?
I don't know yet, but there is definitely competition. Yeah, there is. How we go into that in the future, I don't know, because we're a small island. At the end of the day, I think a little bit around the table and let's be here, guys. That's what you do. This is what we're doing. It might be good, but I don't know. All we can do personally, from my point of view, is kind of we just stick to what we do and that's it. Hope we get through it. But there's huge competition out there.
Could you see that happening, like what James has talked about, all the festivals get into a darkened room and dark sunlight and so
it would be great actually, like around the table talks, but it would be great if something along those lines would happen. We just can't see it happening really. There's too many people at different levels, should we say, with some, let's say, bigger promoters. Why are they going to want to get into a room with a promoter of a 5,000 capacity festival when they're doing whatever, 100,000 people, over the course of a year? So I don't see what they would probably be. Well, we're not going to benefit from that. I don't know. I mean, it could be an ideal situation, but I think it's like kind of any committee or something that you're starting to get into all kinds of politics and just become a bit messy. I don't know. Is the honest answer, but like I think it would possibly get messy.
Yeah.
And I think the only ones that are winning out of it will be agents, you know, because if there's more competition and more offers, they're able to play everyone off each other, going, well, we're getting offered this for.
Yeah. There's a panel tomorrow morning called So What You Get for Your 10%, in which we have high tea with the agency. That'll be a panel where it's over. You know, it's interesting because I mean, something happens in every kind of mature business at some stage. When you have a huge amount of players like we have at the moment in the festival sector, it's consolidation. It's inevitable. Like they will buy out and whatever. Like, you know, I mean, you've also kind of got the body and soul area at the Electric Picnic, so you're under the festival public tent is so to speak. Whereas like we see HWCH is completely independent. Do you see like being more can you actually see consolidation happening? Can you see basically smaller festivals being bought out by bigger operators and like eventually one kind of like it kind of like I suppose predict about that?
I have no idea. I mean, we've run an area at the picnic for the past 10 years, but we work absolutely independently. And if that began to change, I don't really want to do it because, you know, that's just how we roll. Being bought out, I don't know. I mean, Jesus, I don't know the crystal ball. We might just get tired of it, get sick of playing the games, and get sick of being kicked around and have no choice, or just have to say, okay, that was a great experience and walk away. I don't know. I mean, we're investing for the long term in terms of, you know, our hearts, money, mind, everything, but I don't know.
I think it's something that will happen or is happening, and I don't necessarily think it's a really negative thing because, say for example, let's say independent record labels, you know, over the years, I know some of them struggling, they've been bought out by bigger labels, but they've kept their independence and kept their philosophy, but they've had a bigger distribution deal, or they've had, do you know what I mean, phones pumped into them, so it's been a benefit to them, but yet they've still kept their artistic policy. So I don't necessarily think it's a one, you know, every deal will be different, so there's not to say that, oh, it's a negative thing, oh, it's a positive thing. I think for each individual festival, it'll be a different outcome. So I don't, as I said, I don't see it as an overall negative thing, I don't see it as an overall positive thing.
What about like expansion for the two of these? I mean, I know that like Body and Soul's kind of got the Shape 50 ball name, the October and like I say, you've also got the area at the Electric Picnic. I mean, are there more plans for expansion? What about HWCH? I know you did HWCH's tour or a launch tour as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Is there more scope for that, right?
You see, there is to a certain extent, there's 4 of us involved in HWCH, one of them based in Dublin, the other guys are based up there, so they're more homewards, let's say. So I'm one that pushes for the tours and for expanding around the country, but they're kind of comfortable in their situation, so it's not necessarily something that we're going to push. The tour thing, it worked from a marketing point of view, but it certainly wasn't profitable, you know? But it doesn't, as I said, not writing it off whatsoever, you know, but just from the situation that it's in one door and that's what we're pushing. It's a surfing centre. We've done stuff in Sligo and Strandhill, just surfing area at Hinge. So there's still the options to do that. We might do a couple of little bits next summer as well, leading into the festival. But it's more marketing, for want of a better word, you know, build up to the festival rather than expanding, doing a big festival in the Hinge. Do you know what I mean? It's more geared towards the 1C sessions.
What about Body and Soul, and it's beyond what we just talked about?
It'd be nice to get in out of the field, yeah. It would, yeah, I'm interested, we've always been interested in, well, I suppose I'm personally, from a music point of view, interested in just how a band can almost sound different in different environments, or, you know, what you take from it is different. And also just, yeah, let's get in from the field for a while. We're not looking for global, you know, domination or anything, but yeah, to do some different, interesting things, to curate a couple of nights, again, bespoke. We're not looking to be, you know, every weekend promoters. That's just not what we're into.
Yeah.
But yeah, taking elements and doing something a bit bespoke here and there would be really interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Final question for me then, and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming up on Friday afternoon to do this. The last question for me is, what festivals other than your own did you get to see this year and you actually enjoyed?
What did I get to see and enjoy? Well, I did the conference festivals, but they're not festivals in the field like Eurosonic and those kind of ones. Hollywood Fair.
Hollywood Fair.
Which is a kind of a more family festival. But other than that, I didn't go to any festival.
Okay, great.
I went to Electric Picnic for a day. I can only do a day Electric Picnic. was great, enjoyed it. And I was at Longitude for 2 days. I was at Masters for a day. That was about it.
Oh, drop everything.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to go and see Asapalooza because I've never actually been there, but then it turned out it was a bit of a bad weekend, wasn't it, weather-wise and stuff.
Which is where we came
Back to the old folks, I like the weather.
Okay, we've got some time for one or two questions from the audience. If you have a question for our two panelists, just put your hand up and ask it. We get a microphone to you. Don't be shy. Benzer.
Well, firstly, I want to commend both of you. I think that the festivals are right. I played HWCH this year and 2 years ago at Hayes. I understand what Jenny is saying. A 15-minute downpour can just create such a mudland. You've got tractors, tons of bark, hay, so the fact that you're asking these people to then agree, sometimes you can, and then, there might be a side making some profit out of it, and then all of a sudden it's just washed away with a 15-minute downpour. HWCH was great this year. You were talking about the weather, and you even provided, viewing for the football.
Who were you playing with this year?
I was playing with the Mandler this year.
Oh, yeah.
And 2 years ago, I played with Gemma Hayes.
Yeah.
The first experience was a real away, Donoghue, and I kind of in and out, but I could see I got a great feeling, a great buzz about all this. I think bands need these kind of festivals as the platform. So it's great. I haven't played I played at the bigger stage at the Electric Picnic with Johnny Hines, which is great. But the question I want to ask is, Festival Republic, I don't understand why these people are coming in and taking over the security. And I got into a huge row with the head of security at Festival Republic at Kilmainham because he wouldn't let my mother-in-law take my 2 children out. And his reason being that we're following rules of the guards. Whereas if I was dealing with an Irish person, I knew that he would understand. The guards didn't want to stop an with 2 kids, leaving it was pedestrians first, vehicles later. And I walked away just feeling, I shouldn't have had to have that argument. And I was an artist at the thing as well. And I just feel that if I'd been dealing with an Irish person, if it was an Irish security firm looking after this, it would be outrageous. So can you enlighten me as to why groups like Festival Republic coming in and working these festivals for us?
That sounds like a whole other panel.
Right.
That's opening up a big can of worms in some ways. Festival Republic.
Is it a big can of worms?
Well, I mean, they're the buyout people, aren't they?
Yeah, Festival Republic is a company which is owned half and half by Live Nation and also by MCDs, Dennis Desmond and Caroline Downey via Gately Investments. And what they've done is they've bought the Electric Picnic. They operate.
Latitude originally, wasn't it? Which was the big chill.
Yeah, they bought the big chill, and that's kind of gone.
That's Latitude now.
Yeah, I think they're involved in Longitude. I'm not involved.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And so there's involved in Longitude Festival. So what they've done, I mean, this is only, again, I can't even speak for them because there's no one here. But it's what I would call economies of scale. That they would obviously feel that if they bring in a load of English and Scottish security people like they do, that the costs of bringing them in versus the cost of employing Irish people, it saves them money. Am I right?
I think it's because they have an overall, they'll have like a plan for the whole summer where they have, okay, you do X, this is what you're getting for the whole
season.
Correct.
Festival season,
yeah.
We are guaranteed work, etc., and then.
Because I give you an example.
It's cheaper.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Because I give you an
right.
example. They were involved in some English festivals. Last week, they were involved in. They were involved in some festivals. I remember kind of being in the arts accreditation area and talking to these 2 people. And one was really good, and one was absolutely shit. And I was going, okay, that she's really good. He's an idiot. And then at the Electric Picnic that same year, lo and behold, 2 of them were there as well. And guess what? She was brilliant. He was shit. They learned nothing over the summer. So this is like, as Ray's man said, they hired the people for the whole season.
The season, that's the kind of tour bands as well as the people. But mind you, the Electric Picnic years ago, there would have been English security just because some of those firms
I
are
remember
better.
the year of transition, all of a sudden we went to Scott Jackson's, all the gates and stuff like that. And the
What's wrong with Scotsman too?
Sorry?
You don't like the Scottish now?
No, not at all. One piece in particular, at the main it was Biffy Clyro, and I wondered how they brought their own security. And I asked this gentleman, are you part of their person? He was over here. And he said, no, we've done Biffy before, but we're here because we know how to control our Irish audience. Which I thought. Scots are really we are anyways.
Yeah.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks, Spencer. Question?
My name's Charlene, I'm an indie publisher based in the north. I stand the airwaves, I probably went to a couple of years ago, and I what I always find interesting about what they do is they set themselves aside as like a tastemaker kind of festival. If something's going to emerge or it's close to achieving something, it usually happens there first or on its way. And what I liked about that festival was they bring in their international artists, like the interesting ones to draw big tickets, like War on Drugs this year. And they platform the local stuff, the indigenous talent, really comfortably beside it. So it's not like you're the first on, then we've got all these other more interesting international acts. And again, it's just to try and help what's happening in the country at that time to get its way out. So it's got an export focus. I'm just wondering how much that's in your kind of thought process and your scheduling for your festival each year with the local kind of balance against the international kind of big star.
Yeah, we're, you know, for 10 years, particularly at the picnic, we've, you know, I would like to think, but not going to be off in my own world here, but, you know, we've always tried to pull the new music, both Irish and international, and our programming as best we can, apart from, you know, if some big headliner absolutely has to have that closing slot. We really try and program the music for when it suits best, as opposed to this kind of pyramid booking. You know, so if an Irish act like the Galaxy, you know, they closed out our stage at the picnic one year because they were right, they were absolutely perfect. We probably are able to do it less so at Body and Soul Festival because you would have that push from an international, they want that slot. But absolutely, it's not like the Irish will just wheel them out at 12 o'clock and get them the stage warmed up. I mean, they're as valid on our stages as everybody else, really. Except, yeah, you would have, you know, the likes of Caribou this year. They're going to be the big act that everyone wants to see, the dark side of Friday night. But really, we try and program for when the music sounds best, and not for we have to put them on at 12 o'clock unless that's absolutely pushed from a contract stage. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it really does, and I think both festivals do really well at like
I think there's not a discrimination between. It's just you're just trying to book a good lineup, you know.
Yeah.
And there's not discrimination between an international or domestic.
When it fits.
Exactly as Jenny said, when the act fits, it doesn't matter. Oh, we can't put an Irish act on there. You know, that's not the way it works. But we don't want to be just putting on Irish acts because there's so many festivals that just do that. You know, we want to have that international flavour. You know, that you're offering something different than a lot of like festivals around the country. Are just specifically Irish numbers, you know, obviously because for cost and fairness, is this me? Is it crazy me?
It's a loose wire, I think, so.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's like definitely from a booking policy, we want to have an international flavour, but we wouldn't discriminate against in any way. It's just, you know, we wouldn't discriminate what time they go on because of where they're from. It's just that, as I said.
Just as a slight shorter second question, so where do you go to? What's your kind of like touch points for finding the Irish music? Like Neil and I, and obviously Jim, are great at chanting and stuff like that. Would you go to things like that and see what everyone else is getting excited about, or is it things like hard working class heroes, stumbling into a bar and really loving the music? How does it work? Like your A&R for finding new emerging talent on this island?
It's a bigger question because also tied into the next panel as well. So where did you find out, aside from the record, where did you find out about your new band?
I almost purposely don't look at things like that because I don't know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's like I'll look at yours after I found something. Oh, what did Jim think? And what did so-and-so? But it's, I have to go with my heart and my own ears because if I start trying to go with anyone else's opinion, it's I don't know, I feel like I'm not doing my job, or it's a different thing. I have to go with
other festivals have
or
already
yeah, how many Facebook likes do they have?
Yeah.
We don't care, you know, it's really about what we hear. How I hear it, I don't know, we're kind of always just listening, always rooting around the place and chatting between each other.
You mentioned earlier on the conference festivals like Great Escape and USA.
Yeah.
Did you find them useful?
I did find them useful. Yeah, I did. I did actually.
Which
Yeah.
one more than the other?
They were different. They were both different. I ended up partying more at Brighton, so it was probably business-wise better in Eurosonic. But a lot of that is they're people you're watching, you like the sound of, but you want to see what they're like live. And there was definitely a few that was like, oh Jesus, no, you sound great on record, love, but it doesn't really work, or you're not ready yet. So it was really good for that. And then obviously others you're just stumbling into new music. So yeah, I did find them really useful.
What's your rating on quality?
It's across the board, but I definitely will. I prefer them, you know, not to be told what to go and see. Like say, I think our Grievance one is great as well in January, which is kind of often, it's a weird kind of time of year and no one else is
doing
there.
so much.
wants to watch, and I always go into that without any policy. I just go, I'll go in for a couple of hours on Thursday, I'll go in for an hour or two on Saturday. Do you know what I mean? And see who, like, if I come across someone that I like myself, great. You get sense on the stuff as well, read. Do you know what I mean? So you just, if you listen to this, you know what you like and what you don't like, because, you know, you really do get sent a lot. So sometimes it's not that difficult to find, because if they've any kind of cop on at all, they'll send it to, you know, festival bookers, promoters and stuff, you know. So I think that's an important part as well. And like, just like, it's this maker, it's this people who walks around all these ways. And then I like just stumbling upon stuff as well, do you know what I mean? Going along to, I don't know, even Sweeney's or Wheels or something, who's that band, you know? And there might be 6 bands on it in a row or something, just on a normal kind of Wednesday or something. I like doing that. It's kind of like, you kind of feel like you're discovering yourself, even though you haven't really, you know. I don't listen to what he said.
Agents can help as well. You might have built up, like, if see Lyndon here, like if Lyndon sends me to, oh yeah, because I know we have a similar taste, I like what he does, you know, there's certain people, managers you've worked with, and you know, they have a good sense of, so you kind of go, yeah, listen to their act. So, yeah.
Okay, a woman come in the door for sex going to do this, so I think that's a signal to end. So please, big round of applause for Jenny.